Hello viewers, welcome back. We are now looking at percentage change. So what we are going to do from here is we are going to apply this 10% boost. This 10% boost to our income statement. This is what we are going to do. We are going to apply that 10% to the whole income statement. But what we are going to do first is use some naming. So we are going to name this cell right here, this cell D62. That cell D62 as increase. We are going to name that cell D62 as increase. And then we use that name increase in the formula in order to make sure that we fill this income statement. So let's start off by popping into this cell, that D62 that has the 10%. And if you like using the mouse, you can click right here where it says D2. You can click right there and then you write the word increase. And if you write that the word increase, that will change the name of the cell from D62 to increase, but we prefer to use the keyboard. So with the cursor in this cell D62, we are going to tap Alt and then we go to M. We hit M for formulas and then another M for defining name, and then we go to D to define the name. And when you hit D, you'll see that this dialog box comes up, and for the name we are going to type there the word increase, just like that. And then we are going to come here and hit OK, or we hit enter, and you'll see that from when we are pointing to this, when you point to that, you'll see that it changes to increase. So that's what we wanted to first do. And now we can see that the word increase has come up in that name box. So now we want to start putting in formulas. We want to start putting in the right formula, the first formula right in this cell F62. We put in the formula there, and we want to effectively take the company's revenue and multiply it through by 1 plus that increase, because what we are basically doing, we are inflating these values by 10%. In other words, we are finding increase. We are increasing those values from the income statement and we inflate them by 10%. That's basically what we are doing. There is nothing is going to change from what we are doing, because we are basically looking at that very item and we increase it by 10%. So the other one will get the revenue value and we multiply by 1.1. But we don't want to put in any hard code numbers. We want to use formulas. In other words, we want to have these values when they are dynamic. That's why we are not using numbers. So let's put in an equal sign here, equal sign, and where we are going, we want to use, you can actually use the page up button. You can use the page up button to be able to go and select the 11, but if you want, you can use the down arrow, sorry, the up arrow, to go straight to your income statement section, and you pick out that value for 11, which is this. That is the value that we are picking out. So we have that value in place. we are multiplying that value by, you multiply, then you open bracket, 1 plus the increase. Of course, now you can see the formula from here, because down there you can't see. You can check from this formula, the formula bar. So we open the bracket, and now we put a 1 plus. Now what we are going to do, we are going to just type in the word increase. Increase. You will see that that increase, it has come up. When that comes up, you just hit the tab key and the word will be selected. So the word is now selected. We need now to close the brackets, and then we can have the formula in place. Close the bracket with shift, then you hit the 0. It is the one that has the closing bracket. So this is the formula that we are using right here. And now we are going to hit the enter. You will see that we have inflated that value. The value has been, you'll see, the value has been 150,000. So we are just inflating that 150,000 by 10%. So you can try to prove it from here. Equal sign 150,000 times 10%, 0.1. It gives you that. So it will be equal sign the 150,000 plus this increment, and that gives us 165,000, which is the same value that we have here. So that's basically what we are trying to prove. So that's what we've gotten here. So we've seen that it has come up well, and we want, maybe we can now use the scroll key to bring this into focus. Then we can bring it into focus so that we can be able to see everything that we are working on. So now it is better. We can now see whatever we are working on. So we've put in that formula, and now we want to, so you may find when you are not able to see the formula, you can just come into this cell, you hit the F2 key, and you'll be able to see the formula there. Because the other side, we are not able to see the formula. It is F17, that is the revenue. We increased it by this percentage increase you are seeing up here. And that's what we've done. And that's how our formula looks like. So what we are going to do, we are going to grab that revenue from this very cell. So we can hit enter. So we are going to grab that revenue that we have in that cell F. It is F65. That's what we've computed, but we grabbed the revenue from F75, and we've seen that that cell is not locked. Because if we are to lock it, it means we are going to just maintain that value which is there for revenue alone. But since revenue keeps on changing, we have to leave it unlocked. So if leaving it unlocked will allow us to move around and do a copy, as we are multiplying that by 1 plus this increase of 10%. So I hope now you can be able to guess what we are going to do next. What we are going to do is we are going to do a copy. That is Control C. When we do that, we are going now to highlight. We are going to highlight all the way down across to cost of goods sold. Shift down arrow. Then what we are going to do from this point, we are going to use Alt ES to paste special. And now we are going to use the down arrow to go down to formulas, and then we can hit enter. We have some of these values, they are coming as negatives, so we know what to do from that point. We shall change them later. So let's first work on these values, and now we finalize them. Now, what we are going to do down to fill these other sections that we have, for us to be able to fill these other sections that you are seeing, These other sections for SG&A, depreciation, interest, taxes, and all that, we need to make sure that we first highlight. The first option is to use the F4 key. You highlight, then you do the same for the rest, taxes, depreciation, and all that. And that's how fast we can be able to go by using the keyboard. But now, for us, what we are going to do, we are going to make sure that we go slowly. So you can also come here and do Alt ES. Down to formulas, you paste there. We do the same for this. You can highlight, Shift down arrow, Alt ES. Use the down arrow to go to formulas, hit enter. We do the same to this, Alt ES. Use the down arrow to go to formulas, hit enter. So we've been able to put in these values. We are seeing these values like it's not all that coordinated. We hit the F4 tool. That's a sum. Yeah, that's right. This one for this, yeah. Then for this, we can now come here and put in the formula. Equal sign this plus this, then plus that. So for this one, you hit the F4, you'll find it is this plus this. Yeah, so we are done. We've now gotten everything filled up. So we have everything in there. We have whatever information that we needed to have in that aspect. And what we are now going to do, we are going to look at other ways how we can be able to fill the rest to the right hand side. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy this entire section down here, the whole of this. Shift down arrow, we are going to copy the whole of this and then we paste. So we can copy this, can highlight this, and we'll do a few right just to have these values filled up. Control R. That is, we've done a few right. So we have those values in there. So even if you try this, you'll find that it is G, then we multiply by the increment. So that's how you are seeing these numbers. Maybe we can try to Alt 1 to just reduce, Alt 2 to reduce them to near 0 decimal places. Can come here and put in the separators. So you can just move those separators. So they are looking a bit nice. Though have those negative numbers, those we shall format them at once when we have done. So we've now finished copying all the information that we need. But now there is something we spoke about of using these namings. We've seen we've been able to use the keyboard and we put in the naming. We named the cells. And then we incorporated these names of increase right here in this cell. We have been able to incorporate the word increase within our formula. And we've been able to have all these numbers. But now, you can also see we've used the naming here to name that cell to the word increase. And it is very easy for us to access that within the formulas as we are building. But it is definitely our preference. I always prefer not to use or to avoid using the name cells or naming within our financial model because it can be a little bit difficult for us to audit. When you are auditing this financial model, it becomes hard if at all you have used naming of cells. And you can see that the increase here, we see that this increase, it is reflecting here. It is within this line that is at site. But just imagine if we had named those cells and those cells were now on a different sheet. Maybe they were the name that we used was on this cover page. The question is, how are you going to be able to do the audit of the financial model? It will be hard, because if you encounter such names when you're auditing those financial statements, it's going to be a little bit hard when you're using tracing precedents and dependence, all that thing, especially when those names they are on a different sheet. But now, as you are auditing, maybe to give us how best can we use it, or how best can we be able to audit those financial models that are having names. So if you encounter names like the ones that we've seen when you are auditing a financial model, you can also look for those names in the name manager. You can see them right up here from these formulas. Then you go to name manager. When you hit the name manager, you will see the things that we've named. We have gross profit, we have increase, we have print area, we have SG&A. Those are the things that we actually named, and we can be able to see them under that format, that formula section. So when you're using the keyboard to go in the same place, you will just go to Alt, M for formulas, and N2 for name manager. You'll be able to see the things, and we have those gross profit, SG&A, increase. They are all listed there in that name manager, and that can help you as well when you are auditing the model. So that's what we have for now. So our model looks great. Maybe we change these negatives. Changing those negatives is okay. We've been doing it, so you know where to go. Go to format cells, you type in 0, semicolon, you put in the color you want. Maybe we do that. Let's just highlight that. We go to Control 1, then we look at this negative. We go to custom, and we are going to put in, we want them to 0 decimal place, semicolon. You open square brackets. We want them in black. Close the square brackets. You open the brackets to 0 decimal place. You close the bracket. They are now being changed. So those negatives have been now changed to brackets. So that's basically what we can do, especially when we are doing some computations like those ones. So we are all now done, but there are few extra things or extra features that we can add to our financial model, and it will add some value on the model, and it will take the model to the next level. So what we are going to see, we are going to look at the navigational columns, but that is going to be in the next video. So we see you there as we are looking at the navigational columns, or the navigational column.